What if the entire financial system was rebuilt from the ground up, on-chain, permissionless, and fast enough to rival the legacy rails from TradFi? That is exactly what Hyperliquid is building. And getting started on Hyperliquid has never been easier, especially with Unit, the asset tokenization layer of Hyperliquid. Before we dive in, it's helpful to understand how Hyperliquid is structured. There are two main components of the tech stack that users interact with: Hypercore and HyperEVM. Hypercore is the trading engine of Hyperliquid. It's where all the action happens: on-chain perps, spot books, and liquidity vaults. Then on the other hand, you have HyperEVM, which is the smart contract layer where you can interact with all the various DeFi protocols on Hyperliquid. So to start, we're going to begin with the exchange. Once you connect your wallet, you'll notice that everything that you need is actually right here on the Trade tab. Under your balances, you'll see that you can transfer USDC between spot and perps. And you'll also notice that you can transfer your spot balances between Hypercore and HyperEVM. If you have balances on HyperEVM that aren't popping up in your Hypercore spot balances, you can just go to your portfolio tab and select the Core to EVM button. So to get started, you'll want to hit the deposit button, which you can do in the header or over here. You'll see options to deposit USDC, USDE, and USDT from Arbitrum. But more importantly, you'll see that you can actually deposit Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol directly from their native chains, or even a centralized exchange thanks to Unit. And the thing about Unit assets is that they're canonical, liquid, and fully composable assets. That means you can trade, margin, settle, and build protocols with them across Hypercore and HyperEVM. And if you look on HyperEVM, we're already seeing that happen today with lending protocols that utilize Unit assets like UBTC as collateral, which is huge. Dalton and I were actually just talking about this a few weeks ago on Remit Reality.
Any of my profits from any trade that I put through on Hyperliquid, I just go straight to the Bitcoin USDC market on Hypercore, spot buy, and then I just, like 20% of my profits, I keep going into Bitcoin. I've always wanted to do that, but I haven't been able to. I have to freaking send it to a centralized exchange, and it's always a headache. And I'm like, dude, fuck that. Like, I'm just not gonna deal with it. Unit has changed that for me. So I've been putting through basically a consistent TWAP once a week where I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, this is the money that I made this week. I'm gonna go into Bitcoin. The cool part of this, outside of the fact that it's a lot easier to buy, it's that you can actually use your Bitcoin. So you could go to Felix, you could go to Hyperlend, you could go to Hyperfi, and put your Bitcoin to work.
So if you're going to deposit assets on Hyperliquid, you're probably better off using Unit to deposit big cap assets instead of stable coins. Why? Because Unit isn't just powering the deposits, it's the asset layer that's also powering Hyperliquid's native spot markets for BTC, ETH, Sol, and yes, even Fartcoin. Spot markets are definitely still in their early days on Hyperliquid, but it is a massive unlock for the ecosystem and users. Plus, when you deposit big cap assets, you are directly helping increase Hyperliquid's TVL, deepening the spot market liquidity, and expanding the collateral base that can be used for trading, margining, and more. Since launching in February, Unit has already enabled over 370 million in deposits across these large cap assets, and those deposits have driven over 7 billion in cumulative spot trading volume, with so much more room to grow, especially compared to perp volume. And while yes, a function of Unit is to bridge assets, it is so much more than that. It's a foundational layer that goes hand in hand with the larger Hyperliquid mission of building a blockchain to house all of finance on-chain. And it's only the beginning. Unit is already in testnet for bringing equity perps on-chain, and when you start to think about what an asset layer like this can unlock, the possibilities are quite endless. Hopefully you found this helpful and a good resource for getting started on Hyperliquid. Bearish or bullish, I'll see you on the next one.